Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experiences, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Chris Zart, general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it.
Hello, and good morning.
Yeah, how's it going?
It is good. It was a fun weekend. I just had one wedding that I worked, and then I went to a wedding as a guest, which was great.
Oh, nice.
But actually, I still had to set up some equipment for them, which was fine. But it was at South Bend at like a botanical garden. It was really pretty. I had a very good time. I was like, I do not consider myself a dancer or like someone that normally gets on the dance floor. I was there the entire night, like as soon as it kicked off. So that was really fun. Weather was great. I think that could have been like really hot because it was a greenhouse that we were in, but it was fine. And then the night before I was at Sandy Pines working a wedding, and that was a good day overall. The only thing that was scary was I'm kind of set up on the edge, and Sandy Pines is like a pavilion. So it's still, outside and everything. And out of nowhere, and I checked the weather, no rain on the radar, nothing at all. Just like in the middle of the dance floor, all these people that were standing outside kind of by the bar area just start like sprinting into the dance floor. And I was like, what are they doing? Like, what's wrong? And then I see behind them just like this gust of wind and rain just coming sideways. So the spot I was at, I immediately got hit like on my back, and all my equipment got wet. Like it just was like, and then the outlet is outside. So I immediately like run, pull power. Everyone like runs over to help me, which was nice. And I had like 10 people just like helping me scooch equipment, out of the rain. And I just got on the mic and I was like, plugged it in for a second. I was like, give me 5 minutes. Like we'll get dance floor going in a second. Just need to like reset up. So I had to wipe down all my stuff. It was fine. But I mean, it was like, I'm glad I didn't run to the bathroom or something. I was alone. Like I would have, that could have been so bad. But, and then it was totally fine. It was like 10 minutes maybe. And then it was drizzling, and then it stopped raining at the end of the night. But yeah, that was kind of scary.
Wild. Those crazy storms come up.
Yeah.
Maelstrom. And then so Saturday was good too. That was your brother-in-law's wedding.
Yeah.
They did. They said I do, and they did.
They did it. They're married. It happened. I was there. I witnessed it.
Any songs that stick out to you that was like, man, that really hit well, or oh, that didn't hit the way I thought it would?
I feel like something that I really haven't played much at weddings, but I feel like I should more is Chaperone.
Got to go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And they did
Pink Pony.
We did two, but yeah, Pink Pony Club was one of them, and that was a great one. That got like a lot of people on the dance floor that were there. Yeah, that was a fun one. There were some like, I don't want to say like kind of like rock, like punky songs that I think that were more like their taste, but like some of their friends liked it, and then sure. I liked it too, so it was fun. But they had some music in there that was like definitely for them, but like a lot of the people there liked it, and a lot of the people there that were just on the dance floor, I didn't like. They weren't like, oh, I'm leaving because I don't know this song. They were like, which I hate so much. Like I'm just like, when I was out there, I was like, I don't know this song, but I'm gonna keep dancing because I'm not lame.
Because I'm cool.
I'm not gonna be like nitpicking and just
you're on their team.
Yep.
I like that. Let's see. So I had two weddings as well, both in Michigan. Friday, I was with the talented and beautiful Jeff Webb, fresh back from his wedding and honeymoon, and crazy Blink-182 double concert.
Oh yeah,
so he's had some adventures. But yeah, we went to Journeyman in Three Oaks and had a fantastic wedding. A little smaller, maybe 80 to 90 people, but beautiful couple, beautiful wedding, like a lot of fun. Good dance floor, because one of the bride's daughters, I think, was like on a dance team, because they did like a whole routine to a couple of different songs. But yeah, it was really kind of fun. They really didn't want to do like your typical traditional wedding music. It was more kind of their taste and style. And then we kind of, I don't know what it is, dude, but Jeff was mixing, and he kind of like speaks the language of young girls, like with music, where like every song he was picking would like, they loved it. I was like, I think this is your crowd. So I just let him mix the rest of the night.
Right.
So, but he did a really great job with it. And then they had the monogram that looked beautiful with this new like projector. So the Keystone on it was like crazy, where you can get it really close to the wall and then project it up and it looks like it's flat. It looks really nice. We did photo booth, uplighting. It was a really cool night.
Nice.
Great wedding. And then Saturday, we were up at Blue Dress Barn. They just wanted us for like intros and like toasts and then dinner dancing. So we weren't doing ceremony, didn't do cocktail. So it was kind of a later day for us. But really beautiful, very beautifully decorated wedding. Hot, a little bit hot in that barn initially. We were working with Trish Yeager from Trish Yeager Photography.
Oh, nice.
And we had a great little party. I guess her daughter was in the wedding party.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, her and Eric were doing drapery at my wedding the night before. So
Yes.
I saw them,
Oh,
and they were like, "Oh, we're going to see you tomorrow." I'm like, "Not me,
Yes,
but yeah, Mike." I
Kenzie,
think. So,
I think.
yeah.
And shout out to Kenzie. She said she listens to the podcast
Cool.
on her way driving from Colorado. So thank you for listening. And so I got to meet her, and Trish was there, and we had a great party, great night. One of the cool things that happened was there's this older woman, I don't know, maybe 60s, probably my mom's age or so. But she kept coming up and like requesting songs, but they would like hit huge. And so I was like, yeah. So we just kept playing them because they kept hitting big, you know? And it was kind of like, I think the mother of the bride's friends was a group, and I think maybe the mother of the groom had a group of friends too. But anyway, it was a really good dance floor. But we did a lot more oldies than I was expecting, but that was kind of what was hitting. But yeah, she kept coming up. And so like by like the 7th or 8th song, I realized people were kind of whispering to her. She was kind of like the DJ whisperer, where she was like, you speak his language, go talk to him, request this song, you know? And I was like, yeah. So then we had to finally switch because Bride's like, I want to hear some Bad Bunny. Like I want to use some more reggaeton kind of stuff. So we switched over to that. And then she came up and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I think we're kind of done. But it's like, you had great taste, great songs. You know, what was your name? I swear, Marilyn was her name. She was.
Do you want a job?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Basically, like, yeah, if you want to work, she really had the pulse on the crowd. Like, really understood the crowd.
That's happened a few times where like, and I'm sure it's happened to you, where I've had a guest that like in dance floor, they come up and it's like 3 times in a row, and I have the song they're asking for in the queue, like ready to go. Like it's going to be the next song I'm playing, and they're like, "Can you play?" It's like they know like they can hear the pattern. I think some people just do it subconsciously. They know that like, you know, the BPM or like the type of music, and they just immediately are like, "Oh, this song's great. I know this song will work well based off of, you know."
Yeah.
So it's cool when like people are doing it without even realizing they're doing it.
I love it. They're just feeling the vibe. They're really enjoying it and connecting with what people are responding to.
And it makes it even funnier when you see people that are so clueless and like they give you a song that's so, you know, in the opposite direction. It's different sport, not even the same field. Like, yeah.
And it was kind of crazy because it was a rapid fire request. Like we almost had like a line going all night where like one person was like, we were writing down their request, and then another person came up, we wrote down their request.
Oh, wow.
And then another person came, and I was trying to mix, and we mixed a great dance floor. Like my mixes are really solid, kept things going and tight. Luckily, Chimenda was there helping me, like taking all the requests and like keeping everything, but it was perfect. It went really, really, really well. Really good dance floor. But one thing I noticed was I played Holiday by Madonna, which I love. And I love that song. I think it hits really well. It mixes really easily with a lot of stuff. And people, it's one of those ones like people kind of forgot, but they all know, you know, and it kind of puts puts everyone in kind of a good dancey kind of mood. But that's one of those songs that it dawned on me when I played that like, if a crowd likes this song, we're going to have a good wedding. Like I can just tell because they liked this song from my past experience that the rest of the wedding is going to be a lot of fun.
Right.
You know, of course, if there's like a tornado knocks down the building, then probably not going to happen. But for the most part, for the dance floor, everything goes as planned. It's going to go really, really well.
It's like we're on the right track.
Yeah. Do you have songs like that like when you play, like, yeah, I think I got them. It's going to be a good night.
I mean, I feel like you can tell at the beginning of the night, like where the energy's at. Like even before dance floor, like you can, when you're doing introductions and people responding and they're like, yeah, like you can feel like, okay, going to the dance floor, there is energy. But like, yeah, with a song, I would say like within the first 5 that I normally play is Dancing Queen, which is on the list a lot of the times. Like a lot of people are obsessed with that song the past like 2 years. But that's one like that if I get everyone singing, and that's like people of all ages come out to that one, I usually know that we're like set up for success. It's songs like that where like they're really singing along like to every word and like almost louder than like your speakers.
Yeah.
At that point, that's one I can think of. Trying to think of any other ones. It's a lot of like classics.
I think Queen, Another One Bites the Dust. That's such a like street fight dance, you know, dun, dun, you know, it's such a good beat structure to it. And the energy behind it is kind of what, you know, what I connect with, and that when a crowd connects with, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what they like, you know.
Right.
Like, we're gonna have fun tonight. If you think this song is fun, we're good. Like, I know we got you.
There's a Queen song I'm thinking of. Don't Stop Me Now.
Oh, for sure.
Because that one has a good, like, especially if you start from the beginning, it is just vocals. And if, like, there's times where I played that song and the crowd's like, man, and then it kicks off and they're kind of dancing. And then, you know, so there's that. But then there's been other times where I hit play at the start and immediately everyone's like, tonight. Like, they're like singing like right away. And they're like, they're hanging, waiting for like the song to actually hit so they can start dancing. So yeah, that's a good one.
I love that so much. Yeah, when that crowd just roars, you know.
Or like, this is usually later in the night, but like playing Thunderstruck. And immediately people go into the drinking game without you even having to say anything. They just like form a circle. I'm like, okay, you guys know what's up. Last time I did that though, there was multiple people that finished a full bottle of wine.
Oh my gosh.
About that. And yeah, it was getting nasty.
Just, you know, it like dawned on me then, like, there are a few songs like that I'm like, oh, it's going to be this kind of wedding. Like, there's good energy out there to this song. That means we've got good dancers for countless other songs, you know. It doesn't mean that if they don't like it, just means it's not that type of wedding. It's a different kind of wedding.
Suavemente. That's
I've seen. We played that. Yeah, that went pretty well.
When people get into that right away, that's just a nice danceable one. I love playing that type of music too, like reggaeton, all that kind of stuff.
It's always like a challenge, a battle between, you know, sometimes couples have very specific taste in music, and sometimes their crowd has a very specific, distinctly different taste.
Yeah. And
hopefully there's some like crossover there. But what do you do when there's not? When it's just like what the couple likes is vastly different than what their guests are going to dance to.
I mean, that is like a conversation I try and have beforehand of like, what is more important to you, you hearing the music that you want to hear or having a dance floor? And I only really bring up that conversation every wedding, especially if I'm like, hey, you gave me this music, but is it okay if one of your songs is playing that you want played, it's not hitting, can I get out of it? You know, like, is it really important to you that this whole song is played? So that is a conversation I have beforehand. But if it's day of and it's like I'm playing their stuff, people are not vibing to it, and then I go and I try and get a dance floor and they're also not vibing to it, I'm going to immediately just cater towards the couple. Like, if a dance floor is not really going to happen anyways, might as well kind of have them hear the music they want to hear. Like on Friday, I kind of had like a bit of a back and forth of, one, it was like immediately, most of the day it was very warm and humid. So that is kind of harder for a dance floor. And when I kicked things off, it was like no one was out there. Everyone rushed the bar and was like wanting to be outside by the fire pit, like all that, which, you know, it happens in outdoor venues. And then we got things going, and then it was kind of sporadic. And then I mainly just like the whole night, bride kept coming up and she just wanted like Eminem songs that she could rap every word to. So like I just did that. And that was great. Of like her and like a few of her friends had a great time and were really happy. Getting like a full dance floor going, like catering towards the crowd, it was so sporadic of like I would try and I'd get them for like 3 or 4 songs and then they would immediately want to go back outside again. So I was like, at this point, it's like I'm going to stick to the, you know, with the couple ones, like the music they really want to hear. But I don't know, that is a hard like battle of,
yeah,
you know, I definitely want to make them happy.
Sure. So. Yeah, and that's, I mean, if they're your customer and that's who matters most, you know, about it. And it's their wedding. You want the day to kind of reflect them as much as possible.
I always selfishly want a dance floor. So that is like what I would want to happen. But like, yeah, ultimately, their happiness is the most important. So it's kind of really what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to, every wedding's kind of a battle with that, you know, like where I got to hit these songs as much as I can, but then like the crowd wants these songs they're requesting and then they're responding to these other ones.
Right.
And just balancing that out and trying to do your best with it, you know, to keep people happy and keep people moving. I do try to always check in. It's like, hey, anything you haven't heard that you want to hear?
Yep.
Oh, this, I just check mark it, check, you know. Sometimes like, you know, they have, when they're planning your wedding, like weeks out, months out, and you're requesting a song, you're thinking like to yourself, oh, I really like that song. Yep. Oh, I really want to dance to that song. And then, you know, the night of, there's a different energy out there. And when it's time to play that song earlier in the night, you're not really in the mood for it. And then later in the night, it's like, oh, we've already played it.
Yep.
You know, and so sometimes it doesn't always go the way you think with like, you know, pre-plan in your mind how you're going to feel the night of your wedding towards the idea of taking the social risk of dancing.
Right.
And a lot of people are very good. Like, no, I'm going to just, when they say we're not going to leave the dance floor, and they mean it, they really don't.
Yeah.
Other people are like, yeah, I want to talk. You get kind of pulled in directions, and
Yes.
dancing seems less important than really connecting with your loved ones. So we see that a lot too, where the couple's off talking to friends, talking to family, which is great. That's part of the fun too. So that's the cool thing about it, is you can be whatever you want. But our job as DJs is to really throw the best party possible, so the most people are having the most amount of fun possible.
Right.
And we have to balance that with lots of different tastes. It's not an easy thing. I look at it as a fun challenge. It bums me out when there's like warring factions. You know, you get like the young versus old, or rap versus country, or, different genres. They're like, no, what are you doing? More Drake. And then people are coming up. They're like, can we hear Love Shack, please? And I'm like, what? Well, how do I? We're doing a mashup of Love Shack and Drake. So.
Well, and then it was like, and I had a couple on Friday that I really liked a lot, and they came up to me and they gave me a few songs, and it was really working with where we're at. But we kind of moved to a different point in the night. They like gave me a song, and then they were like, this is gonna just really get people going. And I was like, it's really like, it probably won't. Like, I'm just gonna be told, like, I didn't say that, but I was just thinking it, and I like wrote it down. And then my dance floor just kind of like died. So then but they were still out there, and they were like on my team the whole night. So I played their song for them. No one else came out. It was just them, but they were having a great time. So I was just like, I'm happy that I could cater towards you, like, in this moment. But like, and luckily, like, they didn't abuse that, and they didn't keep coming back. That was like the last song they gave me at that point. But no, it's hard.
It's a difficult, challenging thing it's not a small thing to try to keep everybody happy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's honestly impossible. You just can't please everybody. You have to kind of pick what are my priorities? This couple of priority. I have this venue as a priority. Like, I can't go past time. I have a limited time, And like, I'm running a company, and so I want to do a good dance floor to represent my company well. If I just play, terribly slow, awkward chants all the time, people are going to think that that's the music that I like to play as DJ, and that like, oh, he just throws it terrible. Dude, just terrible. And it's like, my hands are tied. I had to play all this stuff.
Right.
But what I noticed, because you can't please everybody, you pick the people you want, but there's also the other group at the wedding. Every wedding has people who are not on your team, who don't want to dance, who just want to complain. And we were leaving the wedding that night, and there's this long, like, the only way to roll the equipment out is just one ramp, and there was a bunch of people just standing on it, blocking it, waiting for like the bus thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey guys, excuse us. We had a bunch of equipment. We're trying to get to our car. Like, it's the only way we can get the equipment out. And they just kind of refused to move. So we just had to slowly kind of work by them. And while we're working by it, this old guy, kind of drunk, smoking, whatever, was like, yeah, how come you guys didn't play Bob Dylan tonight? I was like, oh, we had a lot of requests. Like, he's like, yeah, I would have danced if it was Bob Dylan. It's just, you guys are terrible. Maybe play something good next time. It was like, we just had a full floor all night. Everybody else was happy except this guy who didn't get his Dylan, who he didn't come up and request that.
Right.
So it wasn't like the bride and groom had a 30 songs full of Bob Dylan, And then the other thing, which is obvious, is that's not real danceable music.
Right.
Like, it's folky. There's a lot of cool memories. It's a good song. It's stuff to chill to or sing along to, but it's not that's good cocktail hour music, or maybe ceremony. I don't know. Personally, I think Dylan's a little overrated, but you didn't hear that from me.
Not a big fan.
But anyway, it's just like he wasn't dancing. Not one time was he even near that floor. He never came up to request anything, and I didn't know who he was. I don't think he was related to anybody. He might have been a friend, or I don't. But it was so incredibly rude to like be keeping us from leaving, and then putting down what we did because it wasn't what you wanted, even though you didn't tell us what you wanted. Like,
this is like, I don't know.
That guy's never going to be on our team.
Yeah.
And Jimena got really upset by it because he's like, are you kidding me? Like, and I was like, don't worry about it, man. Like, there's people like that at every wedding that they're not on our team. They're not for us. They were never going to have a good time, and they're not our job. That's not who we're catering to.
Right.
They're not our customer. So.
I think it still always hurts. Like,
it's
wedding, because it's just like, why?
And we had to be like, all right, we had to kind of take it in stride,
Right.
Like, just be professional. Oh, sorry, we'll get you next time, that kind of a thing.
Luckily, I feel like a lot of weddings I've done, when someone's like that, especially publicly around other guests, and I've had other guests that were like on the dance floor and were like happy with me and we got along.
Yeah.
I've seen people turn on other people.
Yeah.
Where like I get attacked. Like there was a wedding I did and it was at like Four Corners and it was kind of a sporadic dance floor. But like we ended the night really strong and this one guy, I think he might have been a groomsman or something, and I just like wasn't playing his songs, but it was like they gave me so much like sing along and pop punk, and they told me like this is what we want. Like they came up to me and said, end of the night, like we want only this stuff. We want no more like rap. And this guy kept coming, hey, I want this, I want, and I'm like,
more rap. Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. So at the end, like he like tried to get people to boo me and was like, it was literally like this guy sucks.
Yeah,
and like
everyone chant with me. Yeah.
10 people like immediately turned around, were like, F you, dude, and just like went after him. And they were like, this guy was great. Like, you suck. Like what are you talking about? And the guy, like, he just, like, everything in his eyes was like, this did not go the way I thought it was going to. Like, I really thought people were going to be on my side. But he was drunk, you know. It was just like he was responding emotionally. But
and he had the ego enough to think that he should hear his songs at that wedding, you know, and that you were the jerk for not playing his stuff.
Yep. So that happened. Then as I'm packing up and like rolling out, like this is like a few people came up and they were like, we just want to let you know again, like you did great. Like,
I love that.
Don't listen to that guy. And I was like, oh, you guys, like, thank you. I appreciate it.
I tell Ashley, my wife, I go, sometimes these are some of my best dancers. And I like to think that like they, you know, they're dancing. These are my dancers. And I love that your dancers protected you from
yes.
From people who would seek to
From
destroy your dance floor through excess Drake, I guess. I don't know. That's my go-to guy this time.
But yeah, I love when that hasn't happened often, but when it has, it's been great.
I do love that. It's usually the opposite, yeah, where it's everybody, you know, there's 4 or 5, everybody's having fun, but there's just 1 or 2 people who are just.
And like you said, it's like we always got to take it in stride. We can never. We're trying
That's
to be
part
professional,
of the job.
you know. Like I don't. Just because someone's drunk and is like upset that their song isn't gonna play, they don't deserve for me to get upset with them or anything like that. For them to have a bad taste in their mouth, but yeah, it's great when people stand up for you. So
yeah, I have my limits. So I'm like, where I set a boundary. Like if they're coming up constantly, I'm like, all right, that's enough.
Right.
You know.
Or I've had people put their hands on me like that. Like
yes,
there's
touching
lines
me,
that are definitely.
If they threaten me,
hurting my equipment, that's happened before. Yeah.
Oh,
there are things that I'm like, yeah, there's at a certain point we're getting someone involved.
I was like, I'm gonna be professional and nice until it's not time to be nice anymore.
Right.
Yeah. But other than that, it was fantastic. Like really, really fun weekend. Hot, but fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you got going on this weekend? Coming up.
Yeah, I'm now finally going to be working at the Velpo Journeyman for the first time. So I haven't done that yet. 2 weeks in a row I'm working there. So this next Saturday and then the following Saturday I'm going to be there. So really excited to, and I think I'm in both rooms each time. So I get to check out
both
the setups. Like exactly.
I like that.
Which we've already worked some corporate parties there, but yeah, I've been excited to work a wedding. I live right there, so that'll be great. Having a 2-minute drive home.
That is really nice.
Very excited for that.
I have Friday. I'll be Stack's rooftop for a bar.
That's right.
So that should be for a wedding. Stack's bar rooftop for the wedding.
Yeah, I've not done something there. I've seen other DJs set up there before and do weddings and stuff, but is it like the very top or is it like the covered?
Well, I guess I'll find out when I get there, but I think
Okay.
it's the second floor. They've rented out. It's closed.
Gotcha.
The second floor would be closed for a wedding event.
That's really cool.
So
Excited to hear about that.
We'll hopefully throw them a good party. The ceremony's somewhere else, so it's just a party. Just intros and dancing and cocktail hour and that kind of stuff.
Heck yeah.
So it should be fun. I like that, being in Valpo. And then Saturday, I'll be at Trinity Banquet Hall in Chesterton for Jim and Martha's 50th wedding anniversary. So that'll be kind of a fun.
Yeah, I saw that name. I think that's actually one of my professors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he retired like years ago.
Oh, cool. What does he teach?
I believe I was programming when I was doing like that for a year.
Very cool. But yeah, so it should be really fun. They love to dance. So I think
cool.
We're gonna have some really cool music and not typical, some wedding stuff, but not typical. You know, it's gonna be more fun. Stuff that reflects the couple's taste and stuff. So
yeah, I haven't been
really
over
good.
to Trinity in a long time. That was a place that I used to go to like when I got started, like consistently. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, beautiful venue. Well, yeah, I don't have too much else. I guess we're gonna let you go, and we'll talk soon, guys, at your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Bye.